All right. Who would win? The world's most powerful military and national security establishment, or a handful of seashells on the beach? All right. I am, of course, talking about the recent indictment of James Comey. He was indicted over threatening Trump because 1 year ago, last May, he posted on his Instagram an arrangement of seashells that he coincidentally found on the beach that seemed to display the numbers 8647, which Trump has taken as a threat on his life, saying that 86 is a mob term, meaning to kill. And 47, of course, referring to President Trump as the 47th president of the United States.
But he took a picture of shells in the shape 8647?
Yeah, a year ago.
Do we know that this was James Comey who arranged these shells? It wasn't just malicious mobster hermit crabs?
Well, they haven't legally proved it. Every thinking adult can reasonably presume that James Comey arranged these seashells to be in this shape. But
I mean,
thinking adults, you're on my side.
I don't think taking the picture is what he's being indicted for, right? He did post it, right?
Yeah, he did post it.
So I have a question. So, why would you post that if you didn't see some meaning in it? So those are my two questions. One is
obviously I was just being facetious, and he does see the meaning in it.
I'm not I'm not that in with the mob lingo. I didn't know 86 means to kill. That's like ordering.
It turns out that even people who are in with mob lingo don't know that meaning of the term, because that's not what it means. It just means to kick somebody out.
Yeah, 86 means to get rid of.
Like if somebody is making too much noise in the club, you 86 them and you kick them out,
Okay.
At least how I've always heard it.
Not like get rid of, like a mobster would get rid of.
Yeah.
Not get rid of, but get rid of.
Welcome to Info Hazard. First of all, I am your host, Danny, and here with me are my equal co-hosts, Phil and David. And
you keep clarifying that we're equal. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't think we're equal.
When do our underlings come in?
We need a goddamn intern.
But so basically, I just wanted to talk about this because it's, first of all, so I think this is completely indefensible, right? So even if you agree with Trump on everything else that he's doing and think he's doing a great job,
and we do.
First of all, you're wrong. But second of all, you should still be against him for doing things like this, right? So let's break this down. This is not a serious threat by James Comey, right, to kill President Trump. First of all, it's an arrangement of seashells on the beach. Second of all, it was a year ago, and nothing happened in the interim where he wanted to do anything bad. Third of all, James Comey got Trump elected, which he probably regrets really badly right now. Fourth of all, James Comey is a literal giant, and he stood next to Trump on several occasions. So if he wanted to kill Trump, he probably could have.
He could have ground his bones to make his bread.
Exactly, dude. Fee, fi, fo, fum. Clearly, this is not a serious threat, and yet Donald Trump is using the Department of Justice to prosecute him just because he doesn't like James Comey, basically. Seems to be the only reason. People post way more things that are actually threatening than this all the time, and they don't get arrested, but James Comey did.
Yeah. I mean, I like the image of James Comey taking a giant's club and smashing the president over the head like a creature of folklore. But he was the leader of he was the what do you call it? The head, the chief, of the FBI.
That too.
Presumably, that would have been a better time to do it. Other heads of states have been killed by their heads of security.
Many Roman emperors, famously.
It'd be kind of funny if Kash Patel...
Intelligence agency is what I meant, and that was the South Korean case.
Kash Patel, in contrast, is not a giant. It'd be kind of funny if he sort of tried the ogre bone grinding on a president. It'd also be funny if he could keep his job.
Honestly, I think Donald Trump might be able to take Kash Patel in a fist fight. I'm not sure.
He's big. He's a big guy. Kash Patel's not. So.
Plus, I feel like Kash Patel doesn't have that fight in him, and Donald Trump, for all his faults, he does have that fight in him.
Yeah, that fight.
Okay, so so this is a really sinister plot. I disagree with you completely, Danny. I think we need to lock him up. James Comey, that is. How dare he post pictures of seashells?
Last year.
Right. The 1 year ago thing, I think that they must have just been building an airtight case over that 1 year, collecting evidence, interviewing the hermit crabs.
Interesting. It's probably the hermit crabs that they're in. You don't think it's because recently the attorney general was fired and that perhaps that now this is coming up because Trump has fired enough people that all the reasonable people are gone and brought in people sufficiently sycophantic enough to file these frivolous lawsuits?
I was thinking about this, sycophancy is definitely like the number one qualification to be in his cabinet. But I think with Pam, the problem is that he both expects absolute yes-manship and he expects results, which is problematic when the judicial system isn't giving in to your bullshit. So the new guy just hasn't lost all of his cases yet. Once he does, then he can get fired too.
And Pam Bondi is like the quintessential example of sycophancy only getting you so far in the Trump regime. Like no one was competing for the title of biggest sycophant. Like she was crushing that race, right? Like she was the biggest sycophant by far. I mean,
it wasn't
maybe
even
only Kash Patel or Stephen Miller would be closer.
Yeah, with Stephen those Johnny come latelys, no way, dude. Pam Bondi's been a Trump sycophant forever, dude.
Stephen Miller said something along the lines of Trump is the greatest president in U.S. history. The way he has secured this country will be studied for centuries. He really laid it on thick.
I mean, that part is true, unironically.
Yeah, I feel like way more secure now that we're at war with Iran. Feel so secure
dude,
now.
This Trump glazing is so funny. He'll tweet something like, Rancy O'Donnell is a rancid cunt. And Republicans will be like, behold, the greatest statesman of our age.
A philosopher king.
So what are your takeaways, Danny? So in conclusion...
Yeah.
The fucking circus rambles on.
Why is this any different than any of the other bullshit? You seem to think it is somehow different.
I mean, it's not different, right? He does 8 million indefensible things a day. I just thought this was a great example of something I think it's indefensible, right? He's just weaponizing the government against this guy, something he's always whining about. Here's an example where he's actually doing it, literally, clearly, visible in day. So if you're a Trump supporter, defend this, right? How do you think this is okay? Do you really think that James Comey was threatening him? Yeah, but not in our comment section.
They're going to be defending him because Biden was also committing lawfare or whatever they say, that he was prosecuting people just because they did crimes, trying to put away all the instigators of the Capitol riots.
Yeah, that's their solution to this, is not that the problem isn't that the government is being weaponized against innocent people. It's that it was being weaponized against the wrong innocent people. And now they're just going to accept this going on forever, that like whoever's in charge will just like weaponize the government against whoever they don't like. And that's just acceptable because one guy did it one time. So now everyone gets to do it forever. Fuck that.
Sure, but they have like a different model of justice than you or I. They're very, like, when it's convenient for them, they're very Old Testament, an eye for an eye, and so on.
Or
like,
in this case, a jail, throwing you in jail for some seashells. Yeah. Just wanted to bring this up because it's like, I feel like this is such a good distillation of the current moment in politics, right? You've got the minor inciting incident that's just so innocuous and random in these weird kind of ways where it's seashells and shit. And then it just leads into this full-blown hysteria where Trump's screaming like a little girl that he's under threat and prosecuting innocent giants.
So, what do you think? Is this or the
he is under threat, though, right?
Not from James Comey. James Comey is not physically threatening Trump, right? But James Comey is the one who's being prosecuted.
Isn't that interesting, though? Because there was a literal attempt on his life very recently. It wasn't they didn't get particularly close, but, I would be on edge if that happened to me. Would I go through my Facebook memories and look for instances of other people who have maybe threatened me? Maybe I would. I don't know. I've never been a target for political assassination. Knock on wood.
So what do you guys think? Which is the more serious crime? The tweeting of seashell numbers or the throwing of sandwich?
I mean, definitely the sandwich one is more serious because a perfectly innocent sandwich was murdered.
No, it's like a damn shame, right? It's unopened.
Yeah, there's no conceivable harm that comes from the seashell mosaic. Only emotional harm.
Yeah, look at poor President Trump, dude. He's a wreck.
I could see the guy who threw the sandwich at a police officer being billed for the laundry afterwards.
Yeah. I think that's that is the measure of this alleged crime, is that, like, if it's not as serious as the sandwich guy, then I don't know, it's probably not going anywhere.
Yeah, so you say that, but the entire U.S. military and nuclear arsenal is not enough to protect Trump from these seashells, apparently, dude. He feels scared. Yeah. Oh, so the other thing that is a good example of why this is not a serious threat is, so they indicted Comey. He turned himself in on this charge. He went to court, and within 10 minutes, they released him with no conditions. So clearly the legal system also doesn't consider him a threat to Trump. So this is just total bullshit from top to bottom. All right, you guys have any more concluding thoughts?
Well, you said it's indefensible, so we'd be wasting our breath.
I mean, you might have some more good pile-ons, you know?
Yeah, I do like
set up
to
some
pile
straw
on.
men, joust some windmills. Possibilities are endless.
Come, Sancho Panza, we must quest.
And if you want to have a thought about this comment, make sure to arrange seashells in the form of a comment and take a picture and then post the picture into our comments.
Yeah, we only take seashell comments from now on. Everything else is going to get deleted.
And that's been another seashell arranging episode of Info Hazard. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back tomorrow with another delightful episode of Info Hazard.